A woman spends the day with her lover while her husband is at work. Her husband arrives home unexpectedly, and the woman shoves her lover into the closet. She doesn't know that her 9-year-old son is already hiding in there. The little boy says, "It's dark in here." "Yes, it is." The man replies, "I have a baseball." "That's good. Do you want to buy it?" "No, thanks. My dad's outside." "Okay. How much does it cost?" $8,000. "Fine, here you go, and keep quiet." A few days later, the father says to the boy, "Bring the baseball. Let's go outside and play a little." "I can't. I sold it." The boy replies, "Sold it? For how much?" His father asks, "For $1,000. "That's terrible. That's a lot more than they actually cost. I'll take you to church to confess," the father says. They go to church, and the father puts the boy in the confessional and closes the door. The little boy says, "It's dark in here." To which the priest replies, "Don't start this shit again." "Are you taking any medications?" "Just marijuana, doctor." "And what are you taking it for?" "Everything." "How would you explain the Doppler effect with light instead of sound?" "Well, when I see a car coming down the street, I see the lights white, but when it's leaving, I see them red." "Do you have XXL condoms?" "Yes. Would you like to buy a package?" "No, but if you don't mind, I'd like to sit down here and wait until somebody buys one." Snow White and the 7 dwarfs visit the Vatican for a blessing. The Pope greets them kindly, but Grumpy raises his hand and asks, "Your Holiness, are there any dwarf nuns in the Vatican?" The Pope smiles. "No, my son, I don't think so." Grumpy turns to the others and whispers, "See, Dopey, I told you were dating a penguin." How many fruit flies does it take to screw in a light bulb? 2, but you do have to wonder how they got there in the first place. The Skinny Lumberjack. A very thin fellow wandered into a lumberjacking outfit's personnel office and announced that he was looking for a job. The hiring manager looked the guy over and said, "You don't look like you can even hold an axe, much less swing one." The skinny fellow said, "I may not look like much, but I can cut down trees like nobody you've ever seen before." The manager pointed out 5 large trees and told the man to cut them down and to come see him when he was done. Handing the man an axe, he walked back into the office, figuring that was the last he'd see of him. 20 minutes later, the thin fellow was back. "All done," he said. The manager said, "You mean to tell me you cut down those 5 huge trees in 20 minutes? Where'd you learn to lumberjack like that?" The man replied, "The Sahara Forest." Manager said, "You mean the Sahara Desert?" The skinny guy said, "Oh, is that what they're calling it now?" A prostitute comes up to me and shows me a video of her and me having sex and demands money for it. "Huh," I said, "that's an AI-generated video." "Yes," she says, "I had to make a video of it because you only lasted for a photo. Just watching Alien vs. Predator, and as soon as the American news is finished, I might pop on a movie." The legend of Uncle Marvo, the master of lightning wit, back chat, and repartee, little Johnny is excited because the circus has come to town and his mom has got front row tickets for him. Finally, the evening comes and little Johnny and his mom go off to the big top. Little Johnny sits there and enjoys the lions and the tigers and the jugglers and the trapeze artists, and finally out comes little Johnny's favorites, the clowns. Johnny is loving the clowns and their humorous japes until one of the clowns comes up to him and says, "Little boy, are you the front end of an ass?" "No," replies little Johnny. "Are you the rear end of an ass?" "No," replies little Johnny again. "In that case," says the clown, "you must be no end of an ass." Little Johnny is distraught and he runs out of the circus and all the way home in tears. When his mom catches up with him, she says, "Little Johnny, don't worry. Your Uncle Marvo, the master of lightning wit, back chat, and repartee, is coming to stay tomorrow. We will take him to the circus and he will sort that nasty clown out." At this news, little Johnny cheers up and looks forward to the next night. The next night comes, and, sure enough, Uncle Marvo, the master of lightning wit, back chat, and repartee arrives, and the 3 of them set off for the circus. When they get there, little Johnny, his mom, and Uncle Marvo, the master of lightning wit, back chat, and repartee, sit down and enjoy the lions, the tigers, the jugglers, and the trapeze artists, and then out come the clowns. Again, little Johnny is enjoying their antics, and yet again, one of the clowns comes up to him and says, "Little boy, are you the front end of an ass?" Quick as a flash, Uncle Marvo, the master of lightning wit, back chat, and repartee, jumps up and shouts at the very top of his voice, "Fuck off, you red-nosed seats ent!"